Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Brilliance Business Show, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler, and today we have a wonderful guest, Dan Doré. Dan is a real estate investor, and our topic today is facilitate real estate ownership. Dan, welcome to the Brilliance Business Show.
I appreciate it, Mark. I really love the opportunity. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to a conversation with you today, Dan. Before I get started, I just need to make a legal disclaimer that Dan is not offering legal advice or legal assistance. So let's get started with the show. Dan, can you share with our listeners a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yes. So I'm born and raised in Ottawa, Canada. I come from a very supportive family. I'm also husband and dad to two high-energy kids. I love business, real estate, and pushing the boundaries. I've been a real estate investor for over 2 decades, and I'm the founder of both DORE Property Management and DORE Investments. So essentially, like you've mentioned already, we facilitate real estate ownership for landlords and investors.
It's really interesting times at the moment, Dan. Is the pandemic having an impact on everything to do with real estate? Is it still a great time to make moves?
Yeah, the pandemic is, if anything, it actually is, it's just making sure that we're very cautious. There's a lot of moving parts. Nobody knows exactly, obviously, when this will end. So we're just being very cautious, and depending on the type of real estate you're in, you may be more affected than others. Commercial real estate, if you're hosting offices or restaurants or retail, might be a bit more problematic. We're in the residential space, so we don't have as much turbulence, but we still remain cautious because there's a lot of moving parts.
I hear you. And who are your customers, Dan? What clients do you look after?
Yeah, so it's funny enough, it sounds funny, but our real customers are the tenants, right? That's where the money's coming from. So we always want to make sure that the services we offer are, next to none, that, we're offering world-class customer service. This being said, obviously, we work with landlords and investors directly. In managing the day-to-day operations of the real estate holdings, either with us as partners or for their portfolio. So we kind of have three dimensions. One being the tenant directly, where we always need to make sure we attract tenants to the portfolio, and obviously landlords who own them or investors that invest with us. So, yeah.
Do you recall a specific aha moment that led to the launch of your business?
I actually do. I actually have an aha moment. I love that saying. I actually have one for both the property management company and the investment company. It was interesting because the property management company is not something I set out to do. When I invested in real estate, it was really for my own portfolio. But I got a point in my life where I was looking to start my own business, and a very good friend of mine, James Locke, came from a real estate background. And he says, Dan, you should start a property management company. And he says, you're already in the game. You know what you're doing. And you realize how many people, would benefit from you offering these services. I said, most people, would love to own real estate, but they'll never get involved because they don't want to deal with it day to day. So you could help a lot of people. And this is kind of where this whole facilitate real estate ownership came from. So thankfully, I took his suggestion and made it a business. And, we've been operating for probably not as long as I've been an investor, but pretty much the same. So that was quite an aha moment, for that. And then when it comes to the investment side, the DORE investment, an aha moment came on a very casual encounter with somebody who wanted to hire us as property managers, and the conversation deviated where he was a professional, he was a doctor, and he wanted to invest in real estate, but he wanted to invest with DORE and not just in real estate and us as the agent. And from his point of view, he says, I'd much rather have you as part owner, because then I know that, if you're part owner, you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that the investment is successful. So he saw a huge amount of upside in having us involved in the real estate. So that was kind of revealing from there, and the conversation continued on, and we decided to start the investment company. So yeah.
I love hearing how all things start. It's really, really interesting to me. I'd like to know, Dan, what really motivates you to jump out of bed every single morning?
Yeah, I love that question. I love progress. I mean, for me, I wake up, I'm always in a happy mood. I love to put, it might annoy some people, but for me, I love to be aiming to move the needle, pushing the boundaries, seeing where the team and I can push and get better. To me, just that whole excitement of seeing what else we can do to just get a bit better, a bit more people we can serve. How can we that whole aspect of it. And that's just not a Monday to Friday thing for me. That's a 7-day-a-week scenario. So I'm always motivated I'm always excited to be out of bed.
Great reasons, Dan, to get out of bed. Now, I would like to touch on next. You're involved in an incredible event coming up in December, I believe it is, the beginning of December. I'm also part of this project. And
nice.
With Robert Kawasaki, who I'm a big fan of. I collect gold and silver. I've got my own security box. So I really, really love him. And I'm being interviewed by Sunil at the event as well. So you're part of this event. What are you involved in, Dan?
Yes, I'm actually quite honored to be part of the event, and as you as well. I'm a huge fan of Robert Kiyosaki, and I at the event, I'll share the fact that in my view, I read his original book, the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and it changed the trajectory of my life. It's that revealing for me. So when I had the opportunity to be part of it, I did everything I could to be part of it, and I'll be discussing 5 things that I've learned investing and managing property. So it'd be some really in-depth things that I've seen happen, and hopefully the viewers will benefit from it.
I'll look forward to seeing you at the event, Dan. Now, I want to know what sets your business apart and what unique need are you filling for your customers?
Yeah, what sets us apart, I mean, for us, it's the team culture. We've surrounded ourselves, a team, as growth mindset individual. We genuinely want to aim to make people happy. Everything we do is to try to make things better, provide a better service, and we have fun doing it. We may be a bit crazy, actually, because this for us is, there'd be exchanges of text messages. It could be 4:00 in the morning and really late at night, Sundays, Monday. It doesn't matter. So we really have, we have a group of people that really, really. We've created a culture of people who would really enjoy doing this. And we actually we kind of branded ourselves in the last few months by stating, we're trying to figure out, how could we explain to people outside, what's going on inside, right? And we tagged it rent from people who care. And to us, I mean, there's so many, you hear all these back and forths with landlords and tenants and arguments, and especially nowadays with the pandemic and all of these things that are going on, it's a bit sad. And, everybody, landlords and tenants are like, we're people. Everybody, we're all people. Everybody needs to succeed, right? And we thought the rent from people who care was a really good way to tell the world who we are, right? We genuinely care. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So
I like that, Dan. And a big word that stood out to me there as well, fun. Because if you're not having fun at what you do, how you're serving others, you are doing the wrong thing. You have to have fun. So that really stood out to me, Dan. I would like to know, why is your service especially important in today's modern world?
Yes, it's unfortunate while this interview is taking place, Mark, there's a pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic that's happening all around the world. So it's a bit of an odd time for sure for everybody, I think. But we believe that the pandemic will likely increase demand for quality rental properties. There may be some people shy away from actual ownership, and they'll be looking for rental properties. We also all experiencing an aging population, that are healthy and active, and they're likely, in some cases, looking to downsize, or they're empty nesters and they want to get away from the exterior maintenance. So there'll be a bit more demand for what we have to offer. And, as much as there's some people who have financial struggles, there's people with that are very wealthy, and they're looking to purchase into income producing assets with a low risk, and multifamily residential rental properties pretty much fits that bill for most of the markets. So they need, but the reality is most people who have these needs, they want to be involved with a company that can manage the operations. And if they're involved as partners, I think that it brings peace of mind to the whole prospect of owning the asset. And I think that those are things that we're all seeing, and it's not just happening here in Ottawa, Canada, but it's happening pretty much around the world. But so we believe we bring a tremendous amount of value to the table by offering the services that we do. So.
Great points, actually, Dan. It's crazy times. We have just been put into a second lockdown starting this Thursday. And a great point about what you made, and it does actually make real sense to me that a lot more people may be looking at renting. That does make a lot of sense. I would like to ask, Dan, can you just share a little bit more detail of the kinds of services and products you offer?
Yes. So with the management company, with DORE Property Management, we essentially take on the role of the landlord, right? So we vet new tenants, account setups, move-in inspections, videos, move-in baskets, get the people really settled in, instruct them on how everything works in the unit. We provide a 24-hour, 7-day a week emergency contact. We deal with all accounting related activities, with its rent, vendors, utilities, reporting, all the maintenance, inspections, consultation, customer service, and any customer relation type environment. And then when you get into the investment side, all the benefits that DORE Property Management brings to the table actually is included in the investment side. But you're actually partnered up with us as well. So not only are we acting as agent, but we're actually partners with you. So we go further into the guidance of future growth of the asset, the financing, the legal exit strategy, or purchasing of new property. So an overall asset management actually comes with the investment side as well. So that's a really quick skim through of what it offers. So.
Now, Dan, I know you have all sorts of client success stories. Could you just share one that stands out to you?
Yeah, if we've been fortunate to have served a lot of people with thousands of rental properties. And if it's okay, I actually have two. I'll be really quick.
Of course, you go ahead.
One actually, and this one here, we use it as an example of full circle. So we had a tenant that came to us, rented one of our properties for several years, and came from out of country and then stayed in Canada. And they were so happy with the way they were served as tenants that they actually came back and purchased property and then hired us to manage it on their behalf. So it was like a full circle. Not only they come in as investors, they actually started with us as tenants, saw how they got served, and then turned around, purchased property, and then hired us to manage it on their behalf. So we find it very humbling for people to have, had that experience with us and then can come back and then purchase property and then hire us to do that. So that's one that is that always stands out to us.
And actually, Dan, I'll let you come on to the second one, don't worry. But I'd just like to add, you mentioned customer service earlier. Now, when you have clients coming back, making extra purchases and carrying on working with you, that is a testament that you are standing by what you say with customer service, because so many companies, businesses, entrepreneurs miss great customer service out. So that is a great example of a client success story. So thank you for that. Yeah. I will let you go on to your next one now.
Yeah, and then I want to underline the fact that the team that we have, the culture, the mindset is what makes this happen, right? This is not just a Dan thing. This is a team thing, right? So, and then the second one, I think that it is we've seen several times, but I have one an owner that I know personally because he's actually a neighbor of mine. But he had been a real estate investor in the past and had sold everything. Just he couldn't deal with the day-to-day activity, running his main business, and for him it just made no sense. It just took so much of his time. And then but he always liked real estate. So he ended up hiring us, buying a property, hiring us, and then realized how much he could leverage his time by using our services. And I don't know how many doors he owns now, but he always tells us, having DORE in the mix, it gives him the confidence to just continue. So he's purchased real estate and just continues to purchase real estate now because he knows that he won't have to deal with it day to day, and he can leverage his time and still look after his main business. So we have a few owners like that, but this one here is it was interesting because he started off, sold everything, and then got us involved, and now he's leveraging his assets. So it's pretty, those are, we're humbled by those because, we deal with people. Obviously, you can't guarantee 100% everything that happens, but we generally try to do the right thing all the time. So, yeah.
Great success stories, Dan, and that must make your work so rewarding when you are seeing your clients having great success and being rewarded. That must be so satisfying. Now, I want to know, how do clients typically hear about you, and are there certain life moments that usually lead to them seeking you out?
Yeah, so you can find us on all the general ways, the online searches, the Google searches, the social media. Some people locally will see us, will see our signs, they'll see our vehicles, they'll see, we're pretty much branded everywhere. But I'd say the biggest source of clients that we get are through existing clients, the referrals. They'll refer us based on experience. And that to me is a huge privilege because, there's no better way for somebody to sell us than somebody who's actually used our service. Yes. And you can talk to somebody else about it. And so that to us is, again, we're always very, very happy. And we find ourselves fortunate to be able to, to be on the receiving end of those referrals. And to answer your question about, certain life moments, sometimes real estate ownership comes, as a product of planning. And sometimes it's a product of circumstances, right? It could be, planning. Somebody's really planning to make this happen. They're purposely, putting money aside or leveraging assets in order to purchase a property. And sometimes it happens where, they own a property, and next thing somebody else was managing it for them. And it didn't work out. So we come in, or it could be property that they own. They thought they would have sold it, but now they have an option to hire a company to manage it on their behalf. And that happens at all cycles of life, right? So there's no, there's no specific time frame. We see it all over the map. So, yeah.
I hear you. And I always say referrals is a sign of a job done. Well done. Now, I have really enjoyed having a conversation with you today. Is there anything we did not cover that you would like to share?
No, I think we pretty much skimmed through it. It was pretty good. And I think that one of the things I wanted to highlight is, and it's good that both of us will be on the event on December 5th. And I'm obviously honored to be part of that event. And so I think there'll be a link available at some point if somebody's listening to our interview where they'll be able to get the tickets online. But apart from that, I'm hoping that your listeners enjoyed our talk today. And that they'll join us on December 5th to get a sense of who we are. And I'm truly happy to have had the opportunity to discuss with you today.
Dan, I have really enjoyed having a conversation with you. My last question, what is the best way for our listeners to connect with you?
Yeah, it's probably the easiest way would be through our LinkedIn. So DORE, DORE Property Management on LinkedIn, or I'm actually on LinkedIn as well, Dan Doré, Dan and Doré again, DORE. Or you can go on to our websites. We have DORERentals.com or DOREinvestments.com. And depending on which part of the equation you want to be in, we can be found there.
Thank you so much, Dan. I have really enjoyed learning more about you and your business.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me the time.
It's my pleasure. You have been listening to the Brilliance Business Show, conversations with leading experts in business.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.